What is going on, everybody? Patrick Quick here with a short little video I'm going to do. Basically, when my kids and I go fishing, whether it's the river, ponds, creeks, lakes, we always look for lures. And if they're salvageable, I bring them home, I put new hooks on them and stuff like that, and clean them all up good and see what they are. And then I plan on taking them out and fishing with them. So, in this box in front of me are all the baits that my kids and I had found this year when the water level dropped, in logs and brush piles that we kicked, in mud, following line, a magnet, because I have a magnet for magnet fishing. I just started doing that. I have one bait that I got from there because my magnet's really not that strong, but luckily enough, this bait was big enough to where it could actually pick it up with the metal. But we're going to go into it, and I'm going to go by order of how I found them and where I found them and show them to you guys. Some of them I don't know what they are. Some of them I do. But yeah, so all of them have had hooks replaced, and all of these ones were salvageable to be used. So I do plan on using them. So first one that I found was this. It's by Rapala. It has teeth marks, so definitely musky from the river, because that's where I found this, was the river when the water was down. Muskie definitely were biting this, maybe a walleye, but I know that this being a bigger bait was probably targeted for muskie specifically in the river, and they did hammer it. You can see those teeth marks right there. And I put these new hooks on there. They're nice and sharp. I forget if these are eagle claw or whatever, but I mean they still do have good sharp points to them. Not sure how long those sharp points will last being a cheaper hook, but I wanted to make sure that I replaced them so I could try it out. So that was the first one I found. The second one that I found actually happened to be this guy right here. And I'm pretty sure this is a Berkley flicker shad. I see these all the time. I only had red hooks at the time, so I gave it red hooks. Not sure if it will deter fish from biting it or if it'll help them bite it, but I figured it matched the belly, so why not put it on there with red. This is the best I could get it cleaned up. The eyes are still intact. It's a little beat up, a little bit of paint missing, but it's in relatively good shape. And this was the second one that I found, also at the river. The third one was this one right here. And this is a Cotton Cordell CC shad, deep diving, that's what it says on here. Nice little rattles to it. Again, at the time I only had red hooks, so there's one red hook on here next to the belly where it's kind of got the reddish, and then I had finally picked up some normal ones because tackle's been low at the store, so I've been waiting and waiting for the right sizes, and they finally came in. Also got some new eyelets because I had to replace a few of them that were rusted out pretty bad. But this is the third one I found, also at the river. Really cool to find these kind of lures. I know they're a little bit beat up. I thought about maybe custom painting one of these myself with one of the ones that are beat up pretty bad, but yeah, that was number 3. Number 4 was, I apologize, they are all entangled, was this guy right here. And I actually, okay, it says Rapala on there, so this is a Rapala of some sort. Probably could tell because of the eyes. That should be a giveaway. All of these baits have like distinctive markings that kind of set them apart. And besides it saying Rapala or Rapala on here, these eyes are kind of like a given. It's got a nice little high rattle to it. I found this one at the river too. Again, replaced the hooks, replaced the eyelet because they were a little rusted out, pretty beat up shape. But yeah, another cool little deep diver with a holographic like piece inside of there. the belly, white with a little bit of orange. This one was one of the ones that we actually found in the mud. I followed a line, and when I followed the line and I pulled up on it, this dude came up out of the mud all nasty, caked in like algae and the mud and everything. And when I got it back, cleaned it up, this is what it was. So it was funny to see something go from like brown, green, poopy looking color to this translucent blue. So very cool. The third one that I found was this guy. Again, at the time, these hooks are all I could find in the size because of the shortage. So this one too has red hooks put on it. Very sharp. They're the laser claw hooks. This guy, I do not know what this one is or where it's from. There's no name on it. It has a bite mark in there here, and it's all tore up on its head here. Paint's missing. It's got scuffs here, more bite marks and teeth marks here. Pretty sure a pike hit this or a walleye. It's got some down here at the tail end too. This is the best I could get it cleaned up. This is kind of tarnished. This kind of looks like, you know, I don't even know where this is from. So if you know where this is from and what kind of crankbait this is, leave a comment and let me know, because I'd like to know which crankbait this is. So the next one that I found was this, and this is a Rapala Shad Rap. I know this because it says it right here on the bill. This one I didn't put new hooks on, nothing. This dude was hanging in a tree. Somebody got it caught in a tree. It was hanging there. They didn't want to go and get it. The water was probably really high. Again, this one was at the river. So was the last one. All the other ones were at the river. And so this guy right here was hanging there. The water was low. I was like, you know what? There's a stick over here. This tree's dead that it's stuck in. I'm going to beat the crap out of that tree branch until it breaks, and I'm just going to grab it out of the water. And that's exactly what I did. I walked in about 2 feet of water, and I took a stick and I banged the tree, took one hit. It broke the twig that it was stuck on. It dropped in the water. I grabbed it, and I have a brand new Rapala. I doubt this thing saw very much time in the water at all. There's no rust on it. There's no paint that's missing on it. This is completely good except for one little chip where it probably hit a rock when they first tried it out. But yeah, really excited to find this one with my kids. So then I go to the lake where I usually fish, and I find this. This guy right here. I am not sure. Maybe this is another Berkley. Yeah, it says Flicker Shad right down here. Okay. So this is another Flicker Shad Fire Tiger pattern. I know that coloration real well. Bright orange belly, yellow chartreuse into the green and the black markings. I did have to, I had these little cheap Walmart crankbaits for like crappie and bluegill, and I broke the square bill on it on accident because I hit a wall in a creek tunnel. And so it was no longer usable, and I popped its eye off and I put it on here because this one was missing an eye. So it's got an all red eye, and then it's got the normal Flicker Shad eye with the black pupil in there to make it more 3D. So put the red hooks on there again. Tackle just wasn't able to find what sizes I needed. So that was cool. And then the next one after that was this here. And I know that this is an Ozark Trail. It's the cheap little $1.97 Walmart brand. But I like that it was the gill color because at the stores right now, this is out everywhere. And this is the one that to me has the best color pattern. It's like that bluegill. I put the red hook on here on purpose because it matches the gill coloring right here into the little bit of markings that it has, and the lateral line is red, and I wanted it to match. And then it's got the mustad in the back here. Because there was no hooks on this when I got it. They were completely rusted off, and I had to replace the eyelets. So that was the next one. This one was at the lake. And then at the same lake, my one son finds a chatterbait just like this one. It's in a different box though, because I gave it to him because he found it, because it's only fair. All these ones I found, but my kids were with me, so we say we found them together, obviously, because we did. But the ones that they find specifically on their own without me seeing them first, I let them keep because it's only fair. This one, however, was caught up in a tree and it was just hanging there. It's got a new tail on there. I put a new trailer on there, but the one that it did have was all the way down. The head of it was right here, and it was hanging off right here, and it was in the tree like this. And all I did was take my pole and go right here, and was able to pick it up and take it out of the tree. I don't know why the person who lost it didn't think of that. Sometimes I know you can get into a fit of rage and just be like, "Oh, screw that thing," whatever. Or maybe they just didn't think, "Hey, I could probably like put my pole up there and grab this really easily and get it back." So that is the chatterbait that I got from the tree. And this is actually at a different lake, not the one that I got the uh, other fire tiger and the Ozark Trail from. This is a different lake. But this one right here, this was the one on the magnet, and this was at the lake that the other two prior to the chatterbait were from. Luckily for me, my magnet grabbed both of these hooks, even though they're nickel plated. It still somehow grabbed a hold of it, and I was so happy because this is a Yo-Zuri large crystal minnow, I'm guessing, and the hooks were, these are the same hooks that were, actually I take that back, the hooks were rotted. These are mustad hooks that I had for when I go catfishing with my little tube baits, because I know mustad's really sharp. So I took those and I put them on here, and this bad boy is ready to go. I was super happy to find a Yo-Zuri jerkbait like this, especially in this size. My guess is they were targeting the muskie that were put in the lake, and there's some pretty big muskie in the lake where I'm at. So this guy's all tore up. I don't see any teeth marks like a muskie tore into it, but you can tell that it was banged up pretty good. This was actually down in the spillway at the lake that I go to, the larger lake. And then going back to the lake where the chatterbait came from, I found this guy right here. It's an X4, it says on here, of some sort. I don't know what it is. I bought new hooks and I was able to replace them down here. I've never seen a bait like this. I did try it out. The action is like a super tight wobble. You can crank it really fast and it stays down there. And these treble hooks, this little weird thing right here, I don't know what this is, but this was just so cool to find at first. And then when I noticed that I could replace the treble hooks on here, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it and see what it actually looked like. And this is what it looked like. And it reminds me of like a teeter-totter. It like must help it balance, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. If you know what this is, please let me know. Again, it says X4 right here. So same lake that's in. This Rapala skitter pop. The tail's been chewed up and off of it, but this was really cool. It was just, the wind was really strong for like 2 days straight. I went out to the lake and I was following the bank, and this was floating. The same day I found the X4 and that chatterbait, I found this guy too, and he was just floating right in there in the weeds. And the only reason I knew it was a bait is because I saw this little tiny clear blip, because the rest of him was in the weeds, and this kind of color matched the weed. And I reached down and I grabbed him, and I was like, well, he was freshly broken off too, because these hooks have no rust on them and they're perfectly fine. They're really sharp. They still catch my finger. So this little skitter pop, never used one. It was really cool to find it. Really happy I found it. I don't know what coloration this is. It kind of like looks like a bullfrog maybe, or something, because it's got this kind of ear that looks like a frog. So maybe that, or a toad. Maybe that's what the color pattern is. I don't know. If you know, let me know. And then going back to the lake where I found the Ozark Trail, Flicker Shad, and Yo-Zuri, I this was also something that I got with the magnet. I forgot all about this guy because he was hidden underneath these guys. So this spoon, I've never had a spoon, I've never bought a spoon, I've never used a spoon, but my magnet picked this guy up. I brought it home and I cleaned it. It says Johnson Silver Minnow. So I'll have to look that up and see, if they have, if it's like an OG one or what it might be. But I thought it was really cool to pick this up on the magnet spoon. I don't even know how the action looks on these or anything like that. Like I said, I haven't even thrown one, so that'll be curious to check out. And then same lake as that, this guy right here, this Hedden Baby Torpedo with the prop. This guy was all jacked up. I had to clean him up real good. Luckily, the hooks are still in decent condition. They're not super sharp, but I mean, if I set the hook, it's going to go into a fish's mouth, no problem. The prop I had to bend back a little bit because they were straightened, and it has some sun damage, so it was sitting in the water quite a bit, which, considering that these hooks aren't too rusted, I'd say that these hooks must have had some sort of coating on them. But this was really cool to find at the lake too, just sitting there as the water just dropped recently. This was the newest one that I had found. So it looks like a bass pattern, actually. It's got the lines right here on the lateral. It's got that greenish color right there and the white belly. So I'm guessing if this were a color pattern, it probably would be like baby bass or something like that. If not, let me know. I don't know what the color pattern is, or the color on the actual bait is called. And then in here, just some nice hooks that people just dropped. This EWG, and then this Berkley Power Bait. I'm going to say it probably is the Plum Chartreuse. Yeah, it says Power Worm Berkley. Yeah. But I know that this is the Plum Chartreuse because I see it all the time at Walmart. It has a nice hook on here. It's not tarnished. It's still usable. I think this might be a Berkley Fusion, to be honest, because it has some sort of coating on it. And then, sorry, I'm starting to get stuffed up because my allergies are going crazy since the weather warmed up for this whole weekend to like the 67 and 70 area, and it's been really, really cold, so my allergies are just flaring up. So I apologize if I sound nasally. But I found this guy. I'm not sure what the color is. It's got purple, turquoise, green, and blue fleck in it, and it's got like a green bottom with like a almost like a transparent kind of black, maybe like a smoke color on the top. I found this laying there. It must have just fell out of somebody's tackle box. There's no rips, damages, or anything like that. This is the actual size of it was when I found it. This little swimming fluke, very sparkly, very cool looking. I want to say this is probably a Zoom fluke. By the way it looks like a Zoom. Very, very cool find. No rips in it either. And then another little stick, smaller size worm, I guess. This is definitely not a Ned rig worm. These aren't like the tiny guys. It's like the next size up. So like maybe like the 4-inch worm or whatever. But this one's like a watermelon color, and it's got copper and like green and blue fleck in there. Really cool color pattern. I'm not sure what the color is actually called. If you know, let me know. But yeah, cool. And if you know the brand too, if it looks familiar. And then we have another hook in here that's an EWG, and this also looks like it might be a Berkley Fusion. It's very sharp at the tip. It's got that really long barb, which is why I think it's a Berkley Fusion, because Berkley Fusions have a really long, pointy, sharp barb, and it's got that coating on the hook. And then there's this one that I found. This one has a little bit of rust on there, but I mean, I could take fine sandpaper and clean that up because the point is still very sharp, so the body I'm not too worried about. So that was another one I found. I'm guessing this is an O-ring for Senkos. This is definitely a tungsten weight for a worm. It was laying next to the plum and chartreuse Berkeley in the grass. So this was really cool. I'm not sure what weight this is because I don't have a scale or anything like that. Maybe it's like one of those little 3/16ths of an ounce, the really small ones. And then I found this jig that's got this weird little V in there. From what I heard, is these V's are supposed to help with the hookup ratio and not let them shake it off because it goes down in the V and it's harder to get out of that little V or that little U shape like angle thing that's going on in there. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm sure this is an ice fishing jig. This little guy right here, like little orange body right here, with a little eyeball, tiny little hook, probably good for catching like little bluegill. And ice fishing, you probably catch bigger fish with it if you're ice fishing with it. Never ice fish, so I don't know, but I've seen these at the store in the ice fishing section, so that's why I'm assuming. And then there's a weight that I figured would be good for a drop shot. It's not too heavy. It's got the little eyelet. You can just tie a regular knot on there. That way, if you do get caught in the rocks or something like that, you don't lose your whole rig. You just lose this. And since it's already used, I figured it'd be the perfect weight to use on a drop shot when I try that. And then there's this little grubbin. And this little grubbin I actually picked up and put on when I was at the river because that's where I found it. And I caught two, like, 6-inch smallmouth bass. So this was a cool little find that actually worked right away. So that was my little box of everything that I found this year, lure-wise with my kids, and I can't wait to try some of them out. If you know the names of some of the ones that I didn't, please feel free to let me know. I really like to know what they are. And thanks for sticking around with me, and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you later.